Welcome to today's standing back stretches class. I'm Coach Lindsay. Thank you for joining me. So like I said, we're going to be doing a few stretches, 10 to be exact, all back stretches, but you don't have to get on the floor. I know a lot of times if we kind of deal with that severe back pain, they tell you to stretch it out, right? But a lot of those stretches involve getting on the floor, which isn't always ideal. So we're gonna go through a series of 10 stretches today that are all standing, nothing on the floor, but really a good way to get that back, lower and upper stretched out. So all you need today is a chair. We are gonna be using our chair just as a balance prop for some of these stretches. So if you have a chair, great. If not, just do this near a counter. Anything about your hip height is gonna be perfect for this. So other than that, you don't even really need shoes. We're just stretching today. Let's go ahead and get started. So first things first, we're gonna start with our neck. We wanna maintain a good linear alignment with our body. So our feet need to be about shoulder width apart, and then you wanna make sure your shoulders are nice and rolled away from your ears. So let's take a second to do that, reset our posture here. Now, what you wanna do with your knees is have a slight bend in them. So if you stand and you lock your knees in, your belly goes forward and you naturally arch your back a little bit. So slight bend in the knees so that your pelvis is easily tucked just slightly and your core is fired on a little bit so that you have nice alignment in that back. So let's go ahead and start with our neck stretch. So we're gonna take your head and tilt it to the left here. So you can use that left arm to or left hand to pull your neck down. Now with these stretches, go to the point of slight discomfort, no pain. If you have any pain, stop or decrease your range of motion. So you can take that right arm, push down for a little bit of added stretch and resistance. So kind of like you're pushing on a dog or pushing away something that you don't want near you. And then you should feel that nice stretch in the right part of your neck. We're gonna take a few deep breaths here. Inhale and exhale. One more, inhale and exhale. Beautiful, hold. And go ahead and slowly release. So bring that arm back down, release that neck. You can go ahead and roll it out in between some of these stretches just to release any added tension. And then let's go to the other side. So right side this time, we're pulling that ear towards your shoulder. And then when you're ready, you can use that left hand to push aside. So we're gonna be holding, just for reference, each of these stretches for about 30 seconds. We're not going to be perfect on that. Usually with stretching, you want to hold something for about 30 to 60 seconds, 60 seconds more so if you're feeling lots of pain or stiffness in that area. So that kind of gives you a good reference when you do these on your own to hold them for about 30 seconds is good. Make sure you're breathing through the stretches. Excellent. A couple more seconds. And go ahead and slowly release. Roll that neck out one last time here. Excellent. Let's get into our upper back now. So what we're gonna do is we're going to take our hands, we're gonna interlock them as we bring them forward, like you're holding hands with yourself. And then you're gonna rotate those wrists out, push those palms out, and then you're gonna slightly round your shoulders. So keeping a nice straight lower back, just round those shoulders, kind of like you're opening a book, right? Your shoulder blades are a book and you're opening that book. You're gonna push those arms away, open up those shoulder blades. We're gonna hold this for just a few seconds. This is a dynamic stretch. So what we're gonna do once we're out of this is we're gonna come up nice and tall. And then we're gonna go to the left and then over to the right. So quick transitions here, but deep enough of a stretch. And then as you come up, release those hands and open up that chest. So we're gonna do that 2 more times and then we'll move on. So bring those arms together one more time, interlock those hands, rotate those palms out, nice and sturdy here on the lower body, and then just open up those shoulder blades. So pushing your hands outward, locking your elbows just slightly. So keep a slight bend in those elbows here, remaining to stay nice and straight. And then whenever you're ready, come back up nice and slow and over to the left. Deep breath. And then as you exhale, over to the right. Hold. Inhale, all the way up, and then exhale as you bring those arms down. Excellent. Now we know what that feels like after doing it twice. So let's do it one more time for good measure. So open up those arms, interlock those palms, or those hands, rotate those palms out, get back into that stretch here. You should know what it feels like by now. Great, go ahead and take a big inhale, exhale as you come up. Relax those shoulders and then over to the left, hold. And then inhale, exhale as you come up and transition to the right. My shoulders are tired. That's when you know this is a good stretch. Holding those hands above your head makes a little burn in the shoulder as we come up. Inhale, and then exhale as you bring those arms down. Awesome job. Let's take a minute to roll those shoulders out a little bit. Shake those arms out. That's a lot there on the shoulder joint, so hopefully y'all are hanging in, doing okay on that one. So now we're gonna get into our lower back. This is where we're gonna bring the chair in. We're gonna start with our left leg, so put that chair on the right side of you. We're gonna take that left leg, we're gonna cross it over our right, okay? So kind of like we're starting a grapevine here. And once you have that left leg crossed over to your right, you're gonna take your right hand and place it on that chair, and then you're gonna take the left hand and you're gonna stretch over. So what we're doing is getting a nice stretch here through the lower back here, in addition to our hip and a little bit of our glute muscle here. So a little bit of ballet, it almost feels like. It's like we're crossing our legs and holding onto a ballet pole here, but you imagine whatever you want to. And we're just gonna hold this stretch for about 10 more seconds. Again, if your shoulder kind of gets tired from holding it above your head, you can lower it and then get right back into that stretch. But we're gonna hold for 3 more seconds, 2, and 1. And then as you bring yourself up, just nice and low, you can pretend like you're a ballerina and bring that arm down. Shake out that body. You can rotate your chair over or just turn around, whatever's easier for you. I will be doing lots of flopping with my chair today. So once you have kind of reset your posture a little bit, remembering to kind of keep your pelvis nice and tucked with these exercises, take that right leg, cross it over your left, grab the back of that chair with your left hand, and then reach. So nice deep stretch. As you're reaching, try to kind of tilt your hip out, right? And then reach. Remember to take deep breaths. It's so easy to hold our breath during stretches. 3, 2, and 1. Nice and slow, come out of it. Stand nice and tall, lower that arm, shake it out. So now we're gonna get into more lower glute, hip kind of stretches that we know support our lower back as well. So go ahead and take that chair. You're gonna take your left leg and you're actually gonna place it on top of that chair, okay? So once you have a good little lunge position, you're gonna just kind of lunge forward a little bit. Nothing too crazy here. You just wanna feel a nice stretch in that right leg hip flexor. So with that back leg, imagine maybe 2 to 2.5 feet away from that chair. But of course, your legs might be longer or shorter than mine. So whatever feels most comfortable, you can play around with it. And once you're in that good lunge position, you're gonna turn towards your leg that is up, which would be your left. So you can take that right hand and place it on the outer part of your knee and just twist until you feel a good stretch. So this should not be painful. If twisting is painful for you, you can just maintain that lunge position and stretch out that hip flexor. But if you are able to twist towards the left side, stay nice and tall. Deep breaths here. Excellent. Now, as you take your next inhale, challenge you to kind of deepen that lunge, right? So lean forward a little bit into that lunge. Exhale as you sit into that lunge a little bit more. Excellent. Hold. This is a tougher stretch to hold because it also kind of feels like you're doing a full lunge. So when you're ready, go ahead and come out of that. So push yourself back to solid ground first, then lower that leg off of that chair. Kick those legs out. Let's do some hip circles to loosen up the hip there a little bit, the lower back, and we're gonna do the other side. So switch your chair over if you need to. This time, same thing, right leg on top of that chair. I like to put it kind of on the edge so that when I'm pushing into that lunge, my foot is not sliding forward, but your circumstances might look different than mine, that's okay. So once you have a good lunge, pushing forward slightly, you're gonna then left hand on the back side of that right knee and twist. So once you kind of sit into that twist, you're gonna feel this right throughout kind of the lower back area. Again, all these stretches are great for your lower back, which a lot of us struggle with that lower back pain So these are great to do as you're standing in your kitchen, cooking, or whatever your day-to-day looks like. Now take a good deep inhale and then exhale as you maybe sit a little deeper into that lunge, twist a little bit deeper here. Deep breath. Excellent. Now slowly transition out. So push yourself back to solid ground, lower that leg, shake out the legs. Do some hip circles again here one more time with me. It's good to kind of loosen up after a stretch as well. Now, we're gonna continue to use the back of that chair moving forward. So we're gonna place that chair in front of us. We're gonna give ourselves about 1.5 arms length away from that chair, okay? Once you have that length away, grab onto the back of that chair. You can adjust. I need to go back a little bit further, so maybe it's about 2 arms length, right? And then slowly, not more so pushing down, but pushing out with your hips, okay? So push those hips out. You'll feel a nice hamstring stretch here in addition to the back. You can rest your arms on the back of that chair. You can just rest your hands, and you're gonna sit into this stretch. Now, key here is you're not letting your back arch too much, right? We're still maintaining good posture with a nice straight back. So we're more so pushing back in the hips versus pushing down with the hips and allowing that back to arch. So go ahead and sit into this stretch. It's a really good one for the legs as well. Excellent job. Go ahead and take a big deep breath, and then as you exhale, rise back up, standing position, shake those legs out. We're gonna go back into that stretch. We're gonna do some twisting with it. So again, if twisting irritates your back, continue to do the same stretch that we just did. But go ahead and get back into that stretch where you're holding onto the back of that chair. Now what you're gonna do is you're gonna take your right hand and you're gonna place it on your left leg. So you might need to come a little closer for this one. Feel it out. But once you have that right hand on the back of your left knee or on the side of that left knee, you can again push those hips out and back. And this just allows a little bit of more twisting motion, stretching out that right side since we're reaching for the left. Deep breaths here. Sometimes when we feel like we're in a pretzel, we just need to take a deep breath and let our bodies sink into it. So I'm in it with you. I kind of feel like a pretzel as well. Excellent. When you're ready, go ahead and rise back up. Standing position, shake those legs out. Same thing on the other side now. So as we go back into the back of that chair, left hand reaches for the right leg this time. So figure out your depth from your chair. Both hands start on the chair. As you get in that forward position, left hand grips the right back side of that knee, and then sink into that stretch. So push those hips back, maintain nice straight back here. Deep inhale. And then as you exhale, go ahead and come back up out of that stretch. And roll those shoulders back, shake those legs out. Excellent job. Our next stretch, we're gonna do a standing figure 4. So we've done these in the chair before. A lot of you have done these with me in chair classes, but what we're gonna be doing is we're gonna hold onto that chair for support, right? We're gonna take our left leg, ankle is gonna go on top of the knee, okay? So with this, you're gonna have to squat down a little bit, but not very far. So you're gonna just do a little bit to where you feel a nice stretch there in the outer part of the hip. Now, if this is too much for you, do this in the chair. So what this looks like in the chair is you sit down, see if I can't get in the middle here. Sit down, same thing, left leg on top of the right leg, and this time you're just pushing down on that left knee, okay? So either one works. I'm gonna continue to do mine standing, but just wanted to show you that modification if this is a little bit tough. So once you're in your figure 4, whatever that looks like, you'll hold on to the back of the chair for balance, and we're just gonna let ourselves sit into this stretch. So you're gonna feel this lower back on the left side and into the glute and outer hip as well. Deep breath as you sink into it. We don't want to have any pulsing with this, right? So it shouldn't be bouncing up and down. That's not really stretching you. So find a good point of discomfort and stay there versus kind of pulsing into that point as well. We'll just hold for about 10 more seconds. Excellent. 3, 2, and 1. Slowly come up, release that leg. Woo, shake it out. I'm on the border of making you guys do squats today. Don't worry, we are not. So same thing on the other side. Again, you can do this in the chair if it's more comfortable for you, but we're gonna take that, that right leg and place it on top of your left knee. And then we're gonna go ahead and sink into that figure 4. So just a slight bend in that left knee here. Nice stretch here throughout the outer part of the hip. Keeping your back nice and straight and really squeeze that core as well. Excellent. Let's take a big deep breath. And as you exhale, see if you can't sit into that figure 4 a little bit deeper. I know it's tough. You hold for 8, 3, 2, and 1. Slowly come up, out of that figure 4. Feels so nice. Shake those legs out. Let's do a few more hip circles here before we get into our last 2 stretches here. So nice, big, wide hip circles. Hip circles are great for just kind of loosening up your lower back as well. So always a fun thing to do, mimicking a hula hoop. Okay, next exercise, we're gonna just do kind of a forward lean. So this is really good just for kind of decompressing your back. So you don't really need the chair for this. You might if you need some stability with it, but we're gonna take those legs and we're going to put them a few inches apart. So not together, but not shoulder width apart. So just a few inches there in between. And then you're just gonna lean forward. And if you can touch your toes, great. If not, you can kind of grab the back of your knees or even interlock your hands and settle into this stretch, okay? So play around with whatever feels comfortable, but ideally you're gonna feel this stretch all through the middle part of your lower back as you take a lean forward. If you need to put one hand on the back of that chair for support, please do. I'm gonna see if I can't maintain this stretch with the hands connected behind the legs. It's a little tougher, so again, if you wanna just let your arms dangle, you can. Push those hips out and allow your back to sort of round out. Once you've settled into the stretch, take a big deep breath. Excellent job, mighty family. 10 more seconds. 3, 2, and 1. So as you come out of this stretch, do so nice and slowly. So roll that back up. We don't want to stand up too quickly from hanging down there. Don't want to make anybody lightheaded, so make sure you come out of that stretch nice and easy. We're going to end with some side stretches. This will be our last stretch. So take those legs nice and wide. You can use that chair similar to the third stretch that we did where we crossed our legs, this time nice wide open legs. Stretch over to the right. Get that side stretch in. You can even kind of push back a little bit. So as you're reaching to the right, reach back just slightly, kind of increasing that stretch in the hip flexor here. Excellent. And go ahead and rise back up. Switch sides, same thing. Keep your legs nice and wide and reach. Excellent. Deep breath here. And then one more inhale and exhale as you rise back out of that stretch. Excellent job. Oh, mighty family, I feel like I could go take a nap now. Roll those shoulders back away from your ears. You can do a few hip circles as well if you need to loosen up. But thank you for joining me for today's standing back stretches. I hope you learned a few tips and tricks on stretching out your back without having to get on the floor. Have an amazing weekend. I'll see you guys next week.